Hi, Tonya. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great, great. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about body language today. And for anyone who's watching who doesn't know what the term body language means or why it's important, can you just tell us a little bit about the basics?
Sure. So, body language, also known as nonverbal communication, is basically everything we do minus the words. So, if I'm talking to you, the verbal aspect is a small percentage. The nonverbal aspect is the pitch, the rate, the tone, and then everything I do with my hands and my body. Those are all components of nonverbal communication. The reason they're important is because body language is pretty much primal to us, and it's easier for us to read nonverbal communication and read body language than it is for us to process the words and determine if somebody is being honest or not.
Huh. I know today, since we have such a digital world and everything is fueled by social media, a lot of times we'll meet people online before we ever meet them in person.
Right.
So when we first meet them in person for the first time, like what are some tips for making a good first impression?
Well, the most important thing that you want to do is you want to make them feel like they're important to you, right? But at the same time, you need to look the part. So that means your posture has to be strong and open. You need to smile, hold eye contact with the person that you're talking to. Those are cues that you feel confident about yourself. And when someone feels like the person they're talking to feels confident, then it empowers them and the relationship becomes stronger and they're more attracted to you.
Well, beyond just like what we see, like the visual part of body language, are there any elements that are like involve the other senses, like touch or smell?
Oh, sure, absolutely. That's the core component of flirting. So you meet someone, you see them, and you recognize right off the bat if you're attracted to them because of the visual aspect, right? And then you're out and you're talking to them and you start flirting with them. So what do? You smile at them, but more importantly, maybe you lean over and you touch them, because by touching them, what you're doing is forming an automatic connection with that person. And when you form that connection, there is an electricity that goes back and forth, and you feel the bond that grows from the minute you touch them on. So that's a really important thing to do. Once you're in that flirting mode and you get a little bit further down, well, now you want to touch them, but you also maybe want to touch yourself. So I always tell women, touch yourself in a place that's a sensual area, but that's not something that's overtly sexual. So when you touch your neck, what you're doing is you're allowing the person you're talking to feel your sensuality. When you touch your neck, what you're saying to them is, hey, I'm interested in you. And if you're wearing Caress Forever collection, the first body wash to kind of incorporate the touch and scent collection, then what you're doing is you're releasing this nice perfume, this fragrance that just lasts up to 12 hours. And when you do that, that smell, that fragrance automatically attracts the person you're with.
It's interesting. Well, mentioning caress, I saw some research that men are more likely to remember a woman's fragrance and the way she touches or her touches rather than her name. Why is that's more memorable?
Well, there's two reasons for that. The first is because touch is such an important scent. If you think of a scent, you can't actually live without touch. So we know from studies that babies who aren't touched, they don't grow, they don't thrive. So we know touch is a really important sense for us. That's one of the reasons that you'll not forget that intimate touch, whether it's on the hands or whether it's on the arm. But also, scent is the oldest sense we have. So if you think about a particular scent, it might bring you back to a certain memory that you have. And we know that for this, it involves fragrances and scents that are really important, that are kind of like special and natural. And when you touch that and that fragrance is released, it becomes unforgettable. So what you're doing now is you're forming a relationship by touching, and the scent is going to arouse that person and make them feel good about the relationship.
If we wanted to learn some more about that body language and get more in depth into it, what would you suggest? What's a good way to go about that?
Well, if you're looking for more tips, you can go to houseofcaress.com, and there's a whole slew of tips on nonverbal communication, as well as the significance of scent and touch.
Oh, that sounds great. We'll definitely have to check that out. Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great day.